Well, originally I was working as a pastor of a church, and Reed Carpenter approached me one day and shocked me when he asked me if I'd like to leave the church and help start up a new foundation, a branch of the Leadership Foundations of America, to start a local chapter. And I had already talked to my son-in-law, who is my assistant pastor, about stepping into the position of pastor. He was very anxious to do that, and so that enabled me to step out of one role serving the community, and I became actually his unpaid assistant of the pastor of community affairs. Because what I did with Leadership of America, I fortunately immediately got in partnership with John, and we were co-directors for quite a while of a new organization that was going to reach the least, the last, and the lost in Immokalee. Reed Carpenter had a vision whereby Leadership Foundations of America could but actually expand their area of influence from major metropolitan centers to reach an agrarian community. And he could not find a better example of an agrarian community than Immokalee, which was a high agricultural component in our workforce, and we were a very impoverished community, one of the lowest in the state of Florida. Matter of fact, when I was an administrator in the school system before I retired from that and became a pastor, we had 97% of our children who were on free and reduced lunch. So we had a big wide field open, and to be able to provide direct help to people who were poor, people who weren't able to get out of the cycle of poverty, I saw that as a wonderful opportunity. And shortly into our term of working together, and then John and I had a very positive working relationship, I felt like the organization really needed one head, not two. And so I asked to step back and become the director of community involvement and head up the prisoner reentry program. And so together the two of us began to work on programs that would reach out to the impoverished youth of the community, and also by reaching the youth, reach their parents. And one of the key areas of need was we have so many men in our community who are coming back from either the local county jail after serving out terms, or from state penitentiaries. Their children were in great need, and so we had a great ministry, brought in some wonderful outside speakers. A man, I can't remember his name, from Baltimore, who really gave us a shot in the arm. We were
Calvin Lightfoot.
Calvin Lightfoot, that was it. And Calvin did a wonderful job of inspiring the business people in our community to help us help those who were involved in prison recovery, because we felt like we couldn't just put Band-Aids on the problem. We had to really help these men, and we were able actually to, in another organization, to hire them, because when Hurricane Wilma came through in 2005, we saw that there was great devastation and a great need in the community, and the Leadership Foundation agreed to allow me to slip back from my involvement directly in one-by-one leadership and to start a new organization called iHOPE. iHOPE stands for Immokalee Helping Our People in Emergencies. And through iHOPE, thanks to one by one paying my initial salary to keep me going, we were able to bring in over $5 million of direct aid to families in Immokalee in regards to housing. That was our main focus. We, in that process of about 6 to 7 years, used that money to build 7 homes for people free of charge. One of the One by one staff members served as our contractor and builder to help oversee that portion of the job. We also were able to bring in college students and high school students from across America, literally, that volunteered to help us repair homes. We did everything from putting on roofs. We took a mobile home that we tore down half of it and rebuilt it. And the people, when we finished, asked if we could tear down the good half and rebuild the rest of their mobile home. So we fixed up with volunteer labor and money that was brought in from 2 or 3 main areas. There were a few local large donors, but then there was also federal funds that became available for disaster recovery, but churches across America, which Reed and John had direct connections to, began to pour in support. The Presbyterian Church gave us the most support of anyone. The Methodist Church came in line with them. The Lutheran Church. All of these different church organizations actually gave us more money than the feds did and the government agencies. But we were able to set up 80 FEMA mobile homes after the hurricane to help people have good housing. Now these were reconditioned mobile homes. The people thought they were brand new because they had new furniture in them, new appliances. They were refurbished ones that we bought from FEMA for $500, and these mobile homes were valued at between $35,000 to $45,000 each. And they were able to move into what looked like a brand new trailer, fully equipped, fully furnished, and they were able to do that at a very limited cost, at no interest. We charged them simply for the cost of the $500, and also we charged them for the cost of setting up the mobile homes, and those cost anywhere from, when we started, $3,500 on up to $5,500, depending upon what we needed to have put in. Like some of the homes, we had to build handicapped ramps and handicapped access to porches. Some of them we just put the steps and they were in it. So the cost, they only had to pay back no interest, just the cost of buying it for $500 and a maximum of $5,500, which would have been about $6,000 total at no interest over a 3 to 5 year period. Fortunately for us, one of the local banks, Florida Community Bank, under the direction of Steve Price, when we were needing additional funds to set up our last group of 36 mobile homes, they loaned us interest-free $100,000 to be able to continue to set up the mobile homes, because we didn't have any source of money at that point. After a few years, the income from the donations for disaster recovery diminished. Naturally, because I also worked with the Ministerial Association, and we were praying that we wouldn't have any more hurricanes. And guess what? Today, we still can say we have not had any more hurricanes after 8 years. That's good in that the damage isn't being done. That's bad in that you can't get funds. So we worked together and then established a partnership, again, through one-by-one's direct help. We helped establish in the community a warehouse where we partnered with World Vision and a number of other major companies and brought in, at a very minimal cost and many times free, home equipment, doors, tubs, sinks, toilets, just every imaginable. We had 3 warehouses that we set up with carpeting and all kinds of building supplies, and our people would come in and purchase them for 25 to 30% of the original cost. A lot of it was brand new, never been out of the box. And they came in droves, and we began to see $15,000 to $20,000 a month of income being generated. It helped us pay our rent, our utilities, and pay about 3 or 4 workers to keep the operation going. That gradually, again, the income from that diminished to the point where our board, after I retired, for the 3rd time, I think it was, I retired, they decided to try to make a go of it, and then about 6 months later, they decided to close down the operation. So initially, I was on a hireling of one-by-one leadership. I then became a co-director, of course, and then I also became a board member. But when the involvement with my leadership in the local ministers association and with iHOPE became so, and I was still working with the church all this time as well, I decided to drop off the board. So I'm no longer on the board, but I tell you what, there were joys untold. I'm planning eventually on writing a book, and included in a great part of it will be the final chapter, or near the final chapter of my ministry, and that's working with one by one. It was an absolute godsend to this community, and is still today the way it's impacting the youth and prisoners, and I count it an honor to have worked with such fine gentlemen as a part of one by one.